tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
You can feel the frustration, man. No, it's frustrating because it's frustrating to play. The build is frustrating to play, and that shouldn't be right. There's got to be a better way of doing a mage sorcerer from a leveling process. This is the recommended leveling build, and even then we amended it to take archmage. I don't understand how this is the recommended leveling build. Someone new to play in this game, who's the person going to be playing that build? What are they going to do? They're going to have no mana ever. On the passive tree or on Glacier? Mana shell. You saying on here? On passives? Is that in source? Is that in this one? Is that in Sorcerer or is that in the other one? Like, we didn't get the final point of that, but we had 4 points in that. The other one just has ward. Where's mana shell? Mana +4 per point. Ward per second per 10 max mana. Wisdom. Mana +3 per point. Mana regen. Increased mana regen per 100 max. Yeah, I mean, it goes down the int with the crit, and it goes down the spell damage and the ward retention. I mean, you could have got stuff out of Scholar as well instead of this. Instead of Elementalist, right? You could have got health and mana out of that. So you get 24 plus 15 mana regen. I don't know, man. I tell you, I appreciate anyone putting builds, but I don't know how that works. Particularly for a beginner, I don't understand how that's a recommended leveling build for a beginner. Because having... Oh, this is the lesser Glacier you were talking about. So you could minus 80%, no large explosion, and then you could middle explosion damage plus 100% per point and mana cost plus 40. See, the third explosion, though, is what really helps when you're clearing the maps. Unless you're going to maybe stack stuff here, where you get middle explosion plus 35%, smallest explosion plus 50%. Maybe. It's an interesting one. Explosions in reverse order. So you do your big hit first. Give you less range, though. So you've got this one as well, right? Critical Rejuvenation. Critical hits with Glacier grant mana equal to a percentage of your maximum mana. That is really important. And look at this. So these two nodes are really important, right? Percent of mana gained, 1%, right, when you crit. And then on top of that, you get another percent of maximum mana gained on kill. So assuming you've got adds, I mean, doesn't help so much on a boss fight. Yeah, there's nothing else with mana on it. The biggest issue is that, and it's not even the running out of mana, it's that the only way to get your mana back is to get in melee. See, look at this. This would be perfect. Mana Strike is ranged, but you get less. You get 80% less mana. Auto targets. Double mana gained. But cooldown is 4 seconds and attack speed is 20%. Yeah, 4-second cooldown would make that suck. Mana gained. See, the problem with it all is you have to get in the melee range. You need sapphire rings. The thing is, it's all very well on a gear chart saying to get that, but the chance of getting the shit that you need while playing through the campaign it doesn't make sense. Because then you're either relying on it being an alt character where you've got a massive stash, and if you've got to go into the weeds of crafting, again, a new player's not going to do that. The thing is, if you could solve the mana issues by focusing on all the mana, the reduced damage that you would get by not going max damage would completely change, though, because you've got such big periods and you take such big risks when you're out of mana, because the only way to get mana back is being in melee, right? So if you were able to fix the mana issues, you would take the less damage to be able to continue to attack. You've got these fairly sizable periods where you can do nothing. because you can't even teleport. You can't put your fire ward up. Like for me, you definitely need these 2 nodes here. Definitely. There's nothing here, but these 2 definitely need. See, Arcane Rift, you need 3 in Arcane Rift as well. Because you gain mana when you're in Arcane Ascendancy. Mana gain on start, 25 per point. You regain mana when you enter. Mind you, it's only 75 mana. It's only going to give you 1 Glacier. But every little helps, I guess. Mana gained on killing a distant enemy. I think it requires kills, which sucks for boss fights. See, you're supposed to have your spells are supposed to be less 40% less mana when you're in it. But you cannot regenerate mana while Arcane Ascendance is active. Yeah, but that's not a leveling build. If you've got a build that is so gear specific, that's not a leveling build for me. Because a leveling build, you're supposed to be able to play as you level. That's the point of it. If it requires specific rings, that's where you've got to farm for the build. This is the only recommended leveling build for a Mage Sorcerer. The only one. It's not like there's another one. This is the only one. Next time, follow your build. No, I get that, but the point is, this is the one. Like, you know, I love Maxroll. Maxroll's a brilliant website, and it's a great resource. And the Void Knight build was disgustingly good. Like, the Void Knight build was amazing. I didn't enjoy the Marksman Rogue build, but it had the potential, right? And I didn't really have any issues other than I didn't know the Lagon fight. The Acolyte Leash build was really, really good. I wouldn't say it's a beginner build because of the issues of managing health at the right time, but it was a really good build. This, I just didn't feel was very good, having played the other 3 classes. Crazy. Like I said, I just don't... and I've never had an issue with that final fight. And the issue is when I did that final fight, you think about it, I had the Marksman, which I was just able to keep at range. Right, just stayed at range the whole time. High movement speed, dodging, keep at range, keep the range stuff coming down. The Acolyte Leash, we were in Reaper form. So basically, you stay at range, but when you want to get in close, you use Reaper form, and you're constantly getting your health back. And Reaper form makes you invulnerable, because as soon as you run out of health, you just go back to being an Acolyte again. Right? And we had so much health regen on that. And then the Void Knight, well, I mean, that was just disgusting. You just stood there and bashed. I mean, it was almost unkillable. But this one, it's the risks you have to take on it, because you say you get the burst out, but then you can do nothing, and you just can't get your health back. That's why your mana back. It's based a lot on endgame. Yeah, but again, that's not a leveling build, right? It's so easy to respec in this game. And half of the leveling guides actually have a respec halfway through. Like when I played the Acolyte Leash, you have to like respec halfway through. Same with actually the Marksman Rogue. You have to respec that because you go to the raining traps. Interesting. Real interesting. I would play a Sorcerer again, but I would not play this build. Even with making the adjustments. I would like to try either a fire or a lightning build and see how that pans out. I mean, doesn't say what the mana cost is 0. Really? That can't be right. Mana cost is 67. Mana cost 53. How can a fireball be mana cost of 0? Lightning blast, mana cost of 0. I mean, they're not exactly showing very high damage, but we're not exactly focused on them, right? Is that right? That can't be right. Yeah. I mean, but that's why you try it, right? That's why you try it out. That's what's recommended. You give it a go. But I think that the issue here is if you had a new player that comes into the game that goes, do you know what? I want to try a sorcerer. They're going to try that build, and there's a good chance they'll give up before they even get to the end of the campaign, or they'll just re-roll a different class. What a way to finish. I mean, it starts off fine. Like, cause it's reasonably strong. Like, you kill everything. The issues really started after doing the immortal thing. You know, when you reach Yulia and you've got to fight the couple of bosses again, and then you get the immortal Emperor dude artwork, and then you've got to run out the lava area. That's where the problem started. Before that, it was a cakewalk, you know. And we still one-shot Lagon. The difference with Lagon, though, is he's a static boss. If the boss is completely static, then it's a totally different fight for this class. Weren't using focus. What focus? What, in the passive? In the passive? You found the solution? Check the skill. Focus. Hold the ability key to channel. Jazeri, hey, how you doing? Right, hold the ability key to channel. While channeling, you have 100% increased mana regen. You gain 10 ward per second. After channeling for exactly 1 second, you recover 10% of missing mana and gain a burst of 40 mana and ward. But is it? Can you channel and move? Hang on a sec. Sorry. Right. Okay, so in the skill tree. Yeah, no worries, dude. You go for it. You go for it. It's just interesting, right? Mana from burst. Where would I want to go? Not there, not there. So let's go to the divine. That's Thetima. The problem is you can't move. And look, so we got 300 mana, which is not a lot, right? If you were going to take the passive node, you were going to have a lot more mana, right? So if we get rid of all our mana, right? Now we channel. Why are you not channeling it? Interesting. Let's try that again. Hang on. You can't move. And it takes, just to get 300 mana back, I mean, that's a good nearly 10 seconds. Certainly 6 to 7. And if you're thinking of fighting that last boss, if you're stationary for that amount of time, you're dead. That's the thing, because like if you've got this as well, you're immobile. Your only hope potentially would be to, if you had enough mana to hit your fire ward and then try and channel while you had your ward up. You've got no mobility, that'll be the problem. And if you went Ice Barrage instead of... What does that look like? Kind of feel like that's actually more interesting. Like, I know it's not going to have the damage right now, but I kind of feel like that's more bloody interesting. And it doesn't eat the... I guess you're just not doing the big single target damage that you get on Glacier. Bear in mind, this has got no skills in it. Why does that feel so much better? I mean, it's not on a boss or anything, I know, but... Why can't I... Oh, I can't go across. Let's go this way. The reason this instantly feels so much better, I'm doing damage while moving, having full mobility. I'm able to constantly keep it up. all you have to do is pause for a second to recast it. Where were we? We're in here, right? Were we here? Where's the... They were in Divine Era, right? Where is the... Oasis Customized Summit. Latimer. Temple rooftops. Use all the skill points into the more mana regen. Just remove teleport and get focus. Use the points into the problem for me with it is it's the fact you're fixed in place. 4 points into focus is an extra 100% mana regen. What, without using the skill, you mean? You still have to have the skill, right? So 100% mana regen, but you still... Just in terms of abilities, right? Is there going to be anyone? Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have the damage, but we're obviously not... We've not... There must be a way to increase the damage, right? Yeah, I mean, everything is like increased damage, freeze rate, more hit to frozen targets, ice burst on activation, ice shield detonates. When you cast Ice Barrage, you now also summon an ice shield in the target direction that blocks projectiles. Frost armor, fire rate, but reduce move speed, that would suck. Increased fire rate, but silenced. Ice Burst, increased fire rate, but you become silenced, losing a large amount of mana, and other skills cost more mana. You regain lost mana from this use when barrage ends. Fire rate against rare enemies. Fire rate against bosses. Maximum increase. No homing. No, I don't like that. Ice Barrage releases shards in a wider cone. I mean, that feels more interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, Glacier's definitely strong, but with tech damage into it. So you reckon that we... right, skills... right, you said respec, right? So despecialize. And let's put in focus. I just put 4 points into that, right? Right. Right, let's properly count it out. 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010. It's about 10 seconds. It'd be a 10 seconds to fill it from full, yet Mana Strike, you can do it really quick and you can move. Improve the mana burst when ending it. Okay. Where's mana burst? This one. Doesn't seem to give you much. Yeah, there you go. That's halfway, right? Doesn't give you much. Yeah, that's what I mean. That did not seem stellar. And this is all ward stuff, right? More armor, more resistances. And there's nothing else that's improving it. That is the mana, right? Is a weird interaction. Like I say, for something that is stationary, you're already so stationary, right? Teleport is so slow. Like when you're doing it, it just seems to... Like here, it seems really quick, but when you're in a fight, it seems so slow. And when you're in this, you're already stuck. Right, it's already another ability where you can't move. So on a fight like at the end, like with Majasa, it's a mobile fight. You've got to be moving, because if you get caught in any of like those big AoEs, like the big red circle or anything like that, you're going to get splattered. And the amount of mana I mean, you can get your mana back with Mana Strike in about a third of the time as focus. Does Ascendant... not that one. Oh, Ascendant. Sorry, not that one. No, you can't get mana from Ascendance. All you can do is stop it draining. Which is what we've done. We've already... so the only thing you can get is you can get 75 mana when you enter it. So when you enter Ascendance, if you've got all 3 points... you get 75 mana, but as soon as you exit, you're going to lose 75 mana. So you're going to be in negative 75 mana when you come out of it, because you'll be coming out of it when you'll have no mana. Yeah. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. The only thing you, like we said, you could do is in the passives. Like you could take Mana Shell, as you say. You could take Wisdom instead of these. I mean, hang on. Let's go to. Where's the respec dude? Did I just go to a town and there's no respec dude? Probably. Fucker. Where are you? This is always the best place to go. Council chambers. Focus gives like 200% mana regen. So you get 100%. Yeah, you get 200% if you skill into it, yeah? While you're channeling, though.
Greetings.
So... what else is in here? Increased damage. What if you put in... why can't I spend... Why? So we already had like 8 of that, right? Which was the fire rares and the... And you put in... Let's say we had 7, because we had 7 in that one, right? Which was the increased damage, right? But you could go 8 and put in like 4 into that, right? And then you go into Sorcerer, right? And we said Mana Shell. So if we go to the end here, and you put in 5 into this. Right, and then we had what? We had 5 into that. And then we had 5 into this. All of those. And then, what if you maxed that out and you put in, and you went straight into this for 5? Actually, no, you could put in 1 into that, which then gave us the 5 into this spell multiplier, and then you go into the cast speed, which you had another 5. And then you come down to this. We put about something like that. So that puts us at 400. And then just give us Glacier. And there we go.
Do not dwell on regrets.
What is that? Alright, let's just go to there. So in terms of the character, actually, have I got to redo? Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's... At least you're regenning now. Right, I don't have to go Mage Strike. Because before, I couldn't get the mana back, right? I'd be running around and there's nothing you can do. Question is there any... If you maybe had, like, sapphire rings, if you then had rings and stuff that gave you mana regen... Yeah, so this is the passive tree now. So what we've done is, instead of taking Elementalist for the cold damage, we've put 8 points in Scholar, right? So we've got plus 96 health and plus 24 mana, right? And then in this one, instead of putting into Calculated Destruction and Afterglow, we've gone into Mana Shell, Wisdom. And then if we go to skills, what did we have in here again? We had teleport, right? Actually, no, let's just leave that for a second. Our DPS. So we've lost. So it's cost us 3k DPS. Right, and bearing in mind we don't even have any. Like, we don't have the sapphire rings or anything like that, right?
Destroy them.
I mean, you're still going out of mana. And it's not recovering that quickly. Like, if you're in a big fight. I removed the passive that gives bonus for using a spell above 40 mana cost. Yes. Afterglow. Yeah, that's where you've lost the DPS. Whoa, the focus is much quicker though. Holy crap, look, if you look at this. Alright, we can get way more of these out, and then if we just... And that's just with 8 points into it. Now, you wouldn't have to hold it for that long.
Were you hoping to find Majasa, human? All you will find here is your death.
I mean, certainly during phase changes, you'll get a good bit of mana back, if not. The next note can be interesting on focus, getting mana per missing mana. Hang on then. Where are you looking? This one? No. Mana on missing mana. Where's that? Increase mana regen per missing mana. Casting focus while at negative mana instantly grants mana equal to a percentage of your maximum mana, but focus has a longer cooldown.
What do you think you're doing, my pitiful vessel maiden?
I am breaking the cycle. I refuse to be your sacrifice.
You can use focus
Disgraceful.
before the fight to get like
Brave
50% more mana.
Coming of you, child.
This is not rage. For millennia, the vessel maidens have died so you could live. Now feel the unending abyss of their despair.
What are you doing?
Why don't you show our guest the torment that now fills you?
What's happening? Get out of my mind!
So you're saying if you use focus, where are you getting the extra mana from? It's not showing you get extra mana by doing that. All you do is you're getting 50 ward. You're getting a boat ward boost. Oh, you need to level the skill. Okay.
This is your doom!
Yeah, you notice the damage is obviously down on these things.
Be gone! Foul insect!
Just trying to see how we do with just... okay.
This is your doom! Foul insect!
Ah! Crap. Got caught in the slow.
No! Get out of my mind! Get out!
Night and day. Night and day different. Night and day different. If you had more focused mana and mana regen gear as well, it would be even better. And do you know the difference? One of the big differences. I really do fit. Do you know? I almost feel like I don't want Arcane Ascendance and I want the teleport back, because I miss having the transversal skill to get me mobile. Like the dodge is okay, but having the teleport to get you around. I didn't use Arcane Ascendance once on that fight because it kept me mobile. Now, Arcane Ascendance would definitely give me benefit if the boss was static. So if you're fighting Lagon, then Arcane Ascendance is great, right? But even then, when you're fighting Lagon, having the teleport to get out of some of those big AoEs is really, really useful. And I didn't use Arcane Ascendance, but Arcane Ascendance is going to give you a significant damage boost. But the build felt way more interactive because of the focus. Like anytime, like when she was doing the bit where she tries to turn you to stone, you just instantly hit the focus. Like because she's doing that for a couple of seconds. Now you don't get all your mana back, but you get about half of it back. So the actual build feels nicer to play because it feels more interactive. You don't have these whole big periods where you can do nothing. You've got no damage and all you're doing is running around waiting for an opportunity to get a couple of these mana strikes in. You know, whether you ditch Mana Strike for teleport or whether you ditch Arcane Ascendance for teleport, well, that's the question. But that was night and day different. Night and day different. Where are we supposed to go to? Not the council chambers. Where do we go to? Where does the... I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. Actually, let's come out of here and go to... Joker, that'll do. Yeah. Sacrifice. That's the way. Night and day different. And we don't even have the final point in Archmage. So, if we had another point, we could finish off that and we could get even more. And if you're able to get your build up to 1,000 mana, which is significant, but if you're ever able to get to 1,000 mana, you get tripled as well. Yeah. That was night and day different. Like, I mean, you saw the fight. I mean, it was totally different fight. Like, you're not even a mage player, but it just made sense. And I think for a new player, this is much... it's much better for them because, one, I think it's more robust. Yeah, you're not doing quite as much damage, but it's a bit more robust. But also, like, they're going to feel like they're more engaged because, like, you know, you can get focus fairly early on, right? Because where does focus come in, actually? You get focus... Yeah, you get focus here. It's level 20, right? Before you even gone into this tree. Like I said, I just don't know on what skills. Do you drop Arcane Ascendance for teleport? Or do you drop Mana Strike? That's the question. Because I really feel like the build needs a transversal skill. I mean, we were able to deal with most of the stuff, but I think if you had a fight... like, I mean, if you take Lagon when you get into the second phase, teleporting between the tentacles made it so much easier. You know, and again, if I'm thinking like as a new player like myself, I'm going to make mistakes. So having a transversal skill to get you out of those mistakes is going to be a big deal. I don't know. I'd be tempted to ditch Mana Strike. Did I Mana Strike this fight? I think I did 3 Mana Strikes on one of the you know, constructs things. But I didn't need to. I was just doing it to get a bit of extra mana, right, to make it efficient. But I didn't need to do it. I could have just left it, gained a bit more mana, focused, whatever, and got it back. So you could drop Mana Strike for teleport. You know, go down, look, do something like that. Yeah. Well, there we go. That was a good test. Well, we did 10 hours, ladies and gentlemen. We managed to take our mage as a sorcerer all the way through to the end of the campaign, which was good. We did 3 hours yesterday, so it didn't take 10 hours to get there. We did it in about 12 hours, which is about the... So it's way quicker than the Rogue Marksman, but it's about the same time as the Leash Acolyte. The fastest we've done it is with the Void Knight, by far. Way fast. I mean, hours faster with the Void Knight. We struggled like hell on Magessa. We followed the build guide that was on Max Roll for a leveling sorcerer, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. Fortunately, we had Sacrifice with us on Twitch. And after we finally did down Magessa with much swearing, much saltiness, because it's the first time we've ever died to Magessa, let alone dying to her like 5 or 6 times, we've completely redone the build in the passives, and we've switched out one of the skills, which we and put in focus. And even with just 8 points in focus, or 10 points in focus now, we went back, we fought Magessa again, and it was like night and day. It was like night and day. And the big issue with the leveling build in Max Roll, as good a work as they do, and bear in mind this is an end game, the problem with that build was the mana. The mana issues were just, it was... for me, virtually unplayable with it. It was just too... It was not fun to play. Changing the passives, we've dropped some damage, but we've got way better mana. And I think that's one of the things, is that, yes, your Alpha Strike, if you like, is not as big, but you can sustain way more of them. Right? So, and you're doing... more damage more of the time. It's just not as big numbers, and that worked way better. We got more mana to play with, more mana regen. So yeah, it was good to play with it at the end. I've never actually gone back and done a good bit of theory crafting stuff, so and I'm new to Last Epoch, new to ARPG, so it's quite fun to do that. Huge thanks to Sacrifice on Twitch for helping us out with this. He's been on board with us pretty much for this entire run. Listened to the swearing at the end, and stayed with us to revise the build. And I think now we've come up with something which, it's still not my favourite class. So far, my favourite, without a doubt, is the Void Knight. Right? Out of the 4 that we've now played, the Void Knight is still my favourite. But for me, with the changes we've made, this build is now not an unplayable build. It's more engaging, it's more fun, and I think it would be, you know, I wouldn't have a problem taking this into a monolith and going from there with it. And I think as you're able to refine the gear with more mana and more mana regen, I think this build could become more and more fun to play, because you could just have more mana to play with, right? So... yeah, huge thanks to Sacrifice. Huge thanks to Katie, who's been with us, watching out for the Loot Lizards on YouTube, and Spox as well. If you're still there, Spox, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. We are going to wrap it up for this evening. I say we've been doing 10 hours. We've pretty much had like 2 5-minute breaks, so it's been pretty non-stop. But we did achieve what we wanted to, which is complete the campaign on this. Look, I love Last Epoch. I think it's a great game. I'm so pleased I found the game. And I do intend to absolutely keep playing the game. Particularly, obviously, when the new season comes out. However, as many of you will know, I'm sure, the PoE 2 0.2 update comes out. PoE 2 is the first ARPG that I really started playing at all. So I do want to play the 0.2 update. I do want to play a Huntress just to see how she is. I've played every class to the end of Act 1, so we do a Huntress. But I also, my second favourite class is a Mercenary who's getting a new ascendancy, which is a Tactician. But I haven't played PoE 2 for quite some time, because I play other games. I've been playing Last Epoch, been playing Once Human, so I feel like I'm really rusty in the game. So tomorrow we're going to play a Mercenary from scratch, from the beginning. Going to play all the way through as far as we can get, another long stream, and we're going to play some more PoE 2 Mercenary stuff next week. I might split up and do one stream of Last Epoch just to dabble with an Acolyte Warlock, but I do want to get my hands on again with PoE 2 ready for the 0.2 update. So that's the plan for tomorrow and next week, and then we'll see where we go after the 0.2 update drops, probably the weekend, playing through PoE 2. So that's the plan. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you had a great time. Sacrifice there with great defensives, now good mana pool and regen. Damage wise, isn't it during the campaign probably, but scalable to the end game, absolutely. And let's say huge thanks to you, buddy. Really appreciate all your help, support. You dragged me through this because I was getting so frustrated with the build. I was about ready to ditch it, and you've managed to drag us through to the end. So I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I hope those of you watching on YouTube and Twitch are going to join us tomorrow for some PoE 2. Still an ARPG, something a little bit different, and see how we get on with that, playing a Mercenary. But with that said, it's nearly midnight here, and I'm ready to go to bed and start again tomorrow late morning, so probably on and around 11, 12 o'clock US Eastern, and then we'll probably do another 9 to 10 hour stream tomorrow. Thanks for being with us. You've been watching The Ghost Owl. You've been excellent, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a good night. Good night, Hammer. Good night.